It is always so nice to change out the quilt that I look at. I can see it coming down my hallway, and I thought you might enjoy the view to see what I see. And the camera equipment. Yes, the ever-present camera equipment. Let's get started. Hi, my friend. It's Pat Sloan here. So do you like that little intro so you could see what I see as I come into my room every single day? This is my happy place. So I spend so much time in here. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. We have just a whirl around the studio today, just looking at a bunch of different stuff, including doing a tidy up and just sort of a little mindset shift for myself I want to talk about. So we'll get there. I did do the pillow for the seashell. This is the Tilda fabric called Cotton Beach or something like that, but I have a link to it down in the description box. So I did this pillow cover rather, a little bit loose, so you can see my hands like here. The pillow is like in there a little bit. I wanted it a little bit looser, and the front is quilted, and I just did a wave stitch with a gray, which you can barely see, which is fine because it just gives a little texture, a little body to the pillow. So I'm super happy that it'll go back on the couch exactly where you saw it in the mock-up the other day when I did the tour, when I switched out and put the crabs in there. So when I get the Festivals of Fireworks quilted, which will go next week to the quilter, I'll drop it off and pick up. I will switch that out on the couch because it's the same fabrics and it will look really, really good. So now I want it done like tomorrow, but I'll wait. So here we go with the fruitcake. That's the name of the free pattern using Fat Eighths, and I'm using Lazy Afternoon fabric, which is so, so cute and very summery feeling, especially with that pink, that ballerina pink. Let me do a close-up so you can just see it, straight on. Here are all but the last 3 blocks, which are the ones I have to make. This still is probably not the right order. I just put them up somewhat good. It's not bad. I'll probably take a picture of this, but I wanted to show you the mock-up. Here's the intersection. So it will create a little bit heavier look to have that. I'm not going to put it on the outer edges. I will just put them in these 3 spots here, sort of in that middle area. So if you were doing this, the pattern actually has them butted right next to each other, and they're 5 by 7 or something like that. So I'm doing less of them, and I want to split them apart with the sashing, because I just really like that concept of that little pop of tile work. So it is a visual though, you do see it, but I like that. So it depends on what you like when you're doing a quilt like this. All right, so there's fruitcake, getting to the point where I need to cut a bunch of sashing. My friend at the Confidence Stitch, Kate at the Confidence Stitch, has her herringbone quilt out now for you to order the kit. It is so cool. So I just wanted to tell you that in case you missed seeing it. It is now out there, and that was using the same fabrics that were in her swatch kit. So the swatch set showed you those fabrics. It is a gorgeous quilt. It's so fall, right? Feels like fall. So if you start now, you'll have it ready for fall. So there you go. You can go over and get that. The other thing is it is Lizard Day. Now our first quilt, the first critter quilt. There we go. The critter quilt had a little gecko in it. Now, so if you have quilts with lizards, show it on the Facebook group. Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. So today we can celebrate lizards. And if you have some, I don't think I've ever made a quilt with lizards. I have one with frog fabric from many, 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 many years ago. I don't even know if I still have that one. I may have sent that off to charity. It was a top, and that may have just gone, but it was kind of a neat fabric from years ago. We're going to go to the other side now because I want to talk about tidying up and show you some things, and it's just easier over there. On our way there, let me just talk about a few other things. So Florence, here I need to pick a pink fabric up here, something to do a sweet little border on her and then hang her up. I don't know that I have any of this particular gray because it needs another little inner border, but I think somebody sent that along with the critter quilt, so I'm gonna take a little piece around and then just make this into a sweet little wall hanging. So that is high on the list. Turn that off. high on the list. All right, my drawers over here. Let's move the rolling card. This I still want to get to 4 blocks. That is very, very high on the list. So the drawers. This cabinet was made by Koala. They still make a single. Like you can get a single roller that has all kinds of different options for the drawers. They don't make this double one anymore the last time I looked. But the single one is fabulous. I will link you in the description box below over to my friends at Sewing Parts online. So they have it. So the drawers. So down here, I can't empty this one at all. This is all the Splendid Sampler parts and things, and I had to make some decisions on that UFO, multiple UFOs that are in here from the Splendid Sampler books. These are all the aqua blocks, tons of aqua blocks, a panel that I want to put with aqua blocks, and then the rest are all those crumb things that I did 2 years ago, spent the whole year making crumb stuff. That is also things that I want to play around with, so that can't be changed. I was thinking of taking the horse fabrics. I'm going to do the quilt for my great niece, and so many of you sent me different horse fabrics, so I want to make a variety of them. And I was thinking of using this drawer for something else, but there is so much horse fabric. So my big deal is that this guy will be the next thing. So I've been sewing these blocks. The next one are the horses, and I have got a plan to help with the directionality of things, because that's kind of an issue. They're almost all directional prints. I would say 99% of them. Like here's one that's not directional. You know, the horses there, they're tossed, but most of this is directional. So I did come up with a plan for that. So I feel like I can move forward. I kind of got stumped. I got stumped with all the directional stuff. I don't know where the one block is that I did. It's not in here. I think I have it in one of the blue bins. If I see it, I will get it out. So now let's go over to the table. First, the 10-minute tidy up that I have on the list. Go to your bins, go to any project that's almost finished, anything that you can sort of reduce down what you have in that project bin, because as we go, we accumulate things, and sometimes we could get rid of some of it now or move it back to other bins, whatever you do, but it helps if you're almost at the end of a project to not have so much of the clutter in the project bag anymore that you're sort of done with. Well, I'm totally done with the Christmas one, and so that's what I wanted to talk about, because I've also I had one of these moments, and I thought, well, I didn't film it while I was thinking about it, because actually it was quite late at night when I started looking at it, and I thought, it's like 10 o'clock at night, I'm not going to flip on the camera and film. It's just too late. So I wanted to show you what I am doing. So here is the bin. So I have a bunch of the fabric from, what was I using? Was I using a layer cake? I can't remember. Yeah, this is a layer cake. This was the project. Remember, we just finished it. The tree. Yeah. So I'll show you that again in a second. So what I had some leftover stuff I sewed into little pinwheels and some big half square triangles. So these need to go to the parts center. So I'll put them over there. Then I bought this fabric. I had bought some, got enough of the background. I bought some of the extra. I bought extra from the different greens that we were going to need to do, because remember the body of the tree has the 2 greens on it. So I had extra of that. And now I'm down, like, what do I have here? Anything else extra? Oh, here, I bought an extra one because I didn't know what I would want. And then the rest of this are the leftovers of the layer cake, because it didn't use a whole layer cake. So I could do like almost a whole nother quilt probably with these. I could cut them up and do Oh My Stars. These are just ideas for you. They're not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do those. But things that you can do, you could make a table runner. You could do a lot of things with this extra fabric. For me, I will probably keep the greens. I'll probably keep all of this. So I started looking, okay, I need a backing. And this one turned out a nice size, because I added the extra border on it, so it's got a good size on it. And at first I thought, Well, okay, so let me just talk to you about this, because so I am in a very frugal quilter. And you may not think that. I think some of you might think like, oh, she gives a lot of stuff away. Well, I like only have so much space. I'm in business. A lot of things come in. I can't keep everything. And I really have to use current fabric because I'm a business and I can only show you things that, not only, but I often just want to show you things that you can also get and make similar to mine. So if things are really old, I can't do that. And that's just the way it works. But my core is very frugal. When I first started quilting, like all my quilt backs were just sort of leftover parts from any project. They didn't even match the front of the quilt, which didn't bother me at all, because for me, I made quilts to hang on the wall. I made quilts as art. I didn't, and I didn't make some to use, but primarily I make quilts to look at them. That is the goal of my quilts. I want to hang them up and look at them. I made them, that's why I want to see the entire thing. I want to look at them. So for me, the backing isn't really that exciting. It's something, but I wanted to have something good quality. I didn't want to use a poor quality fabric. So I often would have the sale fabrics that I would get or leftover pieces as sewn together. So we come to this. Now I have been quilting, what? I don't know, 35 years or something like that, whatever it is, maybe longer. And so you would think I would have this honed down by now, but no, I don't, my friend. No, I don't. So I'm looking at this project, because I'm thinking, oh, well, it's a pretty good, it's a pretty nice size. So what I could do is just take a bunch of these layer cakes, because it's not too big, so I could just sew a bunch of these layer cakes together for the backing. And then when I pulled this stuff out at 10 o'clock, the other night, I started, let me take you back down here again. So I started then looking at what I had. And I'm like, well, these are bigger chunks. Remember, my core is very frugal. So I'm thinking, well, these are not really Christmassy. They're kind of just images. And so that works for me. I'm not like pure Christmas with these. So I can keep these and might work in something else because they're pretty nice chunks. Or in the end, they may go to charity to make charity projects. Of course, this one's pretty easy to keep. So I got to this one. Okay, I got to this one. Now here's my thought process. I'm sharing true life with you. I got to this one and I'm like, oh, it is so pretty. It is so pretty. I don't want to use it for the back. It's too pretty, because I'm just going to hang it up and you're never going to see it. And so I'll keep it for something else. And then I thought, well, I could make a table runner. Well, this is going to hang in my kitchen. What I put in my living room, I have a white tree. I tend to have a lot more white, reds, little pinks. I don't really have this much green when I decorate for Christmas. So then I thought, okay, because I thought, well, maybe I'd make a pillow and all this. And then finally I went like, stop. Why don't I just use it for the back of the quilt? Why don't I just do that? It will be fine. It's so pretty. So I'm going to do that. And that's really hard for me, because I don't usually do that. I would want to use up the other stuff that doesn't maybe match even. That's like, so I'm going to do it, and I am going to just have this done at the spa. I'm going to have it done at the spa. So my tree quilt, you get to see it here, is going to have a very pretty backing. And I'm very happy and excited about it, but that was hard. That wasn't my norm. So I would love to hear from you if you are, because I know there are people that all your backs are a beautiful piece of fabric that matches something on the front. Because if you're using it and you flip it over, you might, you would see it. It's part of the whole experience of the quilt, which of course I never thought like that, because I didn't really care about, I've never really cared about the back. But I've changed a bit. Crazy. It is just crazy. So now I will put all that away, and I have a bin. I have a bin here, which I'm very happy about. So happy. I have another bin because, you know, we have upcoming projects and I'm going to put that in there. Now I want to talk to you, we're going to switch gears here. I want to talk to you about the chicken salad upcoming quilt along, which starts at the later in August. I want to talk to you again about it to remind you how it works and what the components are. So let me just get that stuff. All right, this is the chicken salad quilt that I am making, which are all of the pieced blocks. And this is the original chicken salad quilt that Lori Holt did with the applique chickens. Okay, so keep those two in mind while we're talking through things. In order to do the pieced version, you have to take blocks from both books to use it like you see it. Okay, so there's blocks from both books. Now when you go to my Quilt Along website, I Love to Make Quilts, there is a project page, and on there I have a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to show you that so you know what is there so you can understand a little bit more about it. Come to I Love to Make Quilts. Here we are. Here's my banner. You scroll down, and I'm just going to give you a quick review here for those of you who haven't been here or haven't ever been here for a while. I have the currently running, the projects, and sometimes it takes it's a manual process for me to move these, so a few of these need moved down. Here's the miscellaneous great things. So they're tutorials, tips, things people ask a lot about, like how to properly ship a quilt, how to make half square triangles, labels, how to make your border, you make sure your border is straight, pillowcases, the quilt tops and quilts for charity, quilting novels, scrap system, freezer paper, how to create a piece backing. Yep, there it is, my piece backings, the ultimate beginner guide, quilt as you go, which was done in many parts, my oh my stars. And then there's completed projects. So all of that is down here. Many, 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 many completed projects. And then in case you didn't realize it, after the completed projects is the most recent article. So you just have to scroll all the way down to the most recent article for Block Wednesday. So that's always right after the end of that stuff. Okay, so back to the top. So for the chicken salad, we have the quilt that I'm doing, and then the book, and then what it is here's all the piece blocks from the two books, and I listed them for you which ones are in which book. So if you do not want to buy both books, you get, if you have Farm Girl Vintage 2, that has more of them, so you only have to replace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd have to find 5 different blocks. You could just put patchwork blocks in there, or there might be 5 other blocks in the Vintage 2 that you like that you can use. Now the chickens are a different thing. I'm going to show you the chicken each week, and I'll probably make one chicken, but I'll probably make it and make a pillow or something. But the chickens are using templates, so you need to have these templates. That is how you get the shape of the chicken. And then there's the cookbook fabric that I'm using and the background fabric that I'm going to just show you now in a minute. So here, this is a review of my page, my project page for chicken salad at my I Love to Make Quilts. I hope that really helped you see exactly what the components are, because the Sew Along has kind of like options, a lot of options, but I'm kind of following the one picture just like it is because I had the quilt here and fell in love with it. So just a quick review again before we close out, that you can have 2 books to do everything, or just the Farm Girl Vintage 2, and then you have to switch out however many I said of the shapes that were the blocks that were in the other one. This is the background that I'm using. You could use any background. You do not have to use this one if you have something. If you don't even need to have the small little shapes. You could just use a solid. And then of course I have all the fabrics, and then the shapes. The chicken shapes is a bag like this. And so you need all of these in order to make all the chickens, or make any of the chickens, because all the shapes are, you're going to be tracing shapes to get the applique. And there's different ways you can be using these. So here's a chicken. You can see how big the chicken is. All right. That's a wrap for today. Thank you for being here. I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being in the Sloan Zone. Don't forget to tidy up today something. I'll see you online.